Hello everyone. Welcome to 7th lecture for the course Applied Thermodynamics. Today we are going to start a new chapter, that is steam generators. Under that we will cover classification of boilers. Myself Sumit Bardia, Assistant Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering, Sharad Institute of Technology, College of Engineering, Yadra. Today we will cover the following points: introduction to the boilers, classification of the boilers, principal parts and their functions, requirements of a good boiler, factors affecting selection of boiler, and the last one, comparison between water tube and fire tube boiler. In the introduction, the definition of boiler, ASME definition, use of steam, primary requirements and the applications we will cover. In simple words, a boiler may be defined as a closed vessel in which water is heated, vaporized, and converted into steam at a higher pressure than the atmospheric pressure. The heat energy required for steam generation is produced by burning fuel in the furnace. The steam produced in the boiler may be used for producing power for industrial processes or for heating purposes. All power plants as well as industries are using steam, that we all know that. What is the use of steam? Or before that we will cover the ASME definition. What is ASME? ASME is nothing but American Society of Mechanical Engineers. They defined the steam generating unit as a combination of apparatus for producing, furnishing or recovering heat together with the apparatus for transferring the heat so made available to the fluid being heated and vaporized. So that is similar definition by the ASME, American Society of Mechanical Engineers. So what is the use of steam? We need to think over it. The steam generated is employed for various purposes, like for generating power in steam engines or steam turbines, in textile industries for sizing and bleaching, and many industries like sugar mills, chemical industries, for heating the buildings in cold weather, and for producing hot water for hot water supply. So that is the use of steam, and in various applications the steam importance is very much considered while performing any process. So primary requirements of boilers are: first one, that is the water must be contained safely. The steam must be safely delivered in desired conditions as regard its pressure, temperature, quality and required rate. So that is the primary requirement. The main applications of steam are: the heat content of steam is large, we all know that, and thus it is suitable for process heating, for curing, drying, etc. in many industries like sugar mills, textile mills and chemical industries. It is also used for power generation in thermal power plants. Due to its large heat content, steam is used for cooking items like steamed rice, idlis, etc. Steam can also be used for heating buildings and producing hot water in winter. Steam is also used for creation of vacuum, ejection of gases and sterilization. So these are the wide applications of the steam which we are going to generate through the boiler. The next, about the classification of boiler. Boilers are classified according to the various parameters that is listed in these slides. The first is according to relative passage of water and hot gases. In that, water tube boiler and fire tube boiler. In water tube boiler, the water flows through a number of small tubes which are surrounded by hot combustion gases. For example, Babcock and Wilcox boiler, Stirling boiler or Benson boilers. In fire tube boiler, the reverse case is that the hot combustion gases pass through the boiler tubes which are surrounded by the water. For example, Lancashire boilers, Cochran boiler, locomotive boilers. So these are examples of fire tube boilers. Now next classification is about the according to the water circulation arrangement. Whether the water circulation takes place naturally or we are using the forced circulation. In natural circulation, water circulates in the boiler due to the density difference of hot and cold boiler. Examples, naturally circulated boilers are Babcock and Wilcox boiler, Lancashire boilers and locomotive boilers. So these are naturally circulated boilers. Next is forced circulation, in that a water pump. We are using an external device, water pump, which forces the water along its path. Therefore, the steam rate increases. For example, in Benson boiler, Lamont boiler, Velox boiler. The third classification is according to use: stationary boiler, portable boiler, locomotive boiler and marine boiler. In stationary boilers, these boilers are used for power generation in thermal power plants or process steam in plants. Portable boilers are small units of mobile boilers and are used for temporary uses at the sites. Locomotive boilers are specially designed boilers. They produce steam to drive railway engines. Marine boilers are typically used in the ship propulsion. In ships, we are using a marine boilers. Next classification is according to the position of boilers. So position, if the boiler is horizontal or vertical or inclined boiler, we are using, according to that it is classified. Next is according to the position of furnace, whether it is internally fired or externally fired. In internally fired, the furnace is located inside the shell. For example, Cochran, Lancashire boilers are internally fired boilers. In externally fired boilers, the furnace is located outside the boiler shell. For example, Babcock and Wilcox, Stirling boilers. So these are externally fired boilers. Next is according to the pressure of steam generated, whether it is low pressure boiler, medium pressure boiler or high pressure boiler. Under high pressure boiler, again it is subcritical or supercritical boiler. So in low pressure boiler, the boiler which produces steam at a pressure around 15 to 20 bar, it is considered as a low pressure boiler. It is used for process heating. Low pressure boiler is used for process heating. Medium pressure boiler, it has a working pressure of steam around 20 to 80 bar pressure and is used for the power generation or combined use of power generation and process heating. In high pressure boiler, it produces steam at a pressure more than 80 bar. So if the boiler is producing steam above 80 bar pressure, so it is considered as a high pressure boiler. If boiler pressure steam at a pressure which is less than the critical pressure, that is around 221.1 bar, it is called as a subcritical boiler, which is less than the critical pressure. And in supercritical boiler, these boilers produce steam at a pressure greater than the critical pressure, that is 221.1 bar. Above that, it is considered as a supercritical boiler. These boilers do not have an evaporator and the water directly flashes into steam, and thus they are called once through boilers they are called. And the last classification is according to the charge in the furnace. So whether the charge we are using, that is pulverized fuel, supercharged fuel or fluidized bed combustion boilers. So that is coming under the charge in the furnace. So these are the 7 categories under the classification of boilers. Next slide is about the principal parts and their functions. So here the typical figure is shown of a fire tube boiler. It is called a simple vertical boiler. We will describe the principal parts and its functions of a particular boiler. The first part is shell, cylindrical shell. The shell of a boiler consists of one or more steel plates bent into the cylindrical form and riveted or welded together. I need here pointer so that I can show you the cylindrical shell. So this is a shell. The shell ends are closed with the end plates. Next is setting. The primary function of setting is to confine heat to the boiler and form a passage for the gases. It is generally made of brickwork and may form the wall of the furnace and the combustion chamber. It also provides support in some types of boilers. For example, in Lancashire boilers, setting provides support in these boilers. Next is grate. So grate here, it is showing here G. It is the platform in the furnace upon which fuel is burnt, and it is made of cast iron bars. The bars are so arranged that air may pass to the fuel for the combustion. The area of the grate on which the fire rests in a coal or wood fired boiler is called a grate surface. So that is about the grate. Next one is furnace. So where the furnace shows here, so actually here FP is firebox is nothing but a furnace. FP we are calling firebox. It is a chamber formed by the space above the grate and below the boiler shell in which the combustion takes place. So it is also called as a firebox. It is in between the grate and boiler shell the furnace is located. Water space and steam space. Water space and steam space. The volume of the shell that is occupied by the water is termed as water space, while the entire shell volume less the water and tubes space is called steam space. So here the water space dot dash dash is given as in water space, and this lines we are calling evaporating lines is called as steam region or space. Next is mountings. The items such as stop valve, safety valve, water level gauge, fusible plug, blow off cock, pressure gauges, PG here shown where it is PG, here PG is there, so that is coming under mountings. Stop valve, safety valves, fusible plugs, blow off cup, pressure gauges, water level indicator. So where it is water level indicator, that is WLG. So water level indicator are termed as mountings, and a boiler cannot work safely without them. So these mountings are very much important for safe working of the boiler. Next is accessories. The items such as superheaters, economizer, feed pumps are termed as accessories, and they form integral part of the boiler. They increase the efficiency of the boiler. So we can call as an attachment to the boilers to increase the efficiency. Okay, so these are accessories. Next is water level. The level at which water stands in the boiler is called water level. The space above the water level is called steam space. So this is the level of water, and above that it is a steam space. Next is foaming. Formation of steam bubbles on the surface of boiler due to high surface tension of the water. So that is called as foaming, formation of steam bubble. Next is scale formation. a deposit of medium to extreme hardness occurring on water heating surfaces of a boiler because of an undesirable condition in the boiler water. So that is scale formation. Blowing off, the removal of the mud and other impurities of water which are settled down at the bottom from the lowest part of the boiler is termed as blowing off. This is accomplished with the help of blow off cock or valve. So here blow off cock is not shown in the figure. Lagging. Next is lagging. Blocks of asbestos or magnesia insulation wrapped on the outside of the boiler shell or steam piping. That is known as lagging. And the last one is refractory. A heat insulation material such as fire brick or plastic fire clay used for such purposes as lining combustion chambers. So these are the all principal parts and their functions we need to understand properly in order to go for further boilers working. The next slide is about the requirements of a good boiler. So here the list is given of the requirements. We will go one by one. First one, the maximum steam generation rate. The boiler should have maximum steam generation rate with minimum fuel consumption. Next, it can be started or stopped quickly. Quick start and stop should be there. Low cost, its initial cost, running and maintenance cost should not be high. Its erection time should be less and its parts should be easily dismantleable. It should have reliable controls and safety apparatus in order to work properly. It should have high rate of heat transfer and better combustion efficiency. It should be accommodate the load variation. It should occupy less floor space. It should be trouble free and require less attention and less maintenance. It should be free from manufacturing defects. Mud should not be deposited on the heating surface. Soot or scale should not be deposited on the tubes. All parts of the boiler should be accessible for cleaning and inspection. And the last one, it should conform to the IBR Acts. IBR means Indian Boiler Regulation Acts. It should follow this. So these are the good requirements of a good boiler. Next is the factors affecting the selection of boiler. So which are the factors which greatly affects on the selection of boiler? The first one is the steam generation rate. Of course, the steam generation rate of a boiler at a working pressure, that should affect the selection. Next is the type of fuel used and its rate of burning. Next is availability of fuel and water, that also greatly affects on selection of boiler. Floor space occupied by the boiler. The type of load, that may be steady or fluctuating load, that will affect on the selection also. Initial cost, running cost and maintenance cost of the boiler, that also greatly affects on the selection of boiler. So these are the factors which affecting the selection of boiler. Next is the comparison between the water and fire tube boilers. So major classification of boiler is water tube boilers and fire tube boilers. So here figure shows the water tube and fire tube. The main difference between these two boilers are, if we see the figure, in the tubes the water is flowing. In water tube boilers the water is flowing inside the tubes, which is surrounded by the flue gases or the combustion gases. Here the water in and steam out. So water flows inside the tubes, which is surrounded by the flue gases. But in case of fire tube boilers, the flue gases flows inside the tubes and it is surrounded by the water. So here the steam out is there and the water inside the boiler, and the flue gases are flowing inside the tube. So that is the reverse case as compared to the water tube boilers. So here the table shows the comparison points between the water tube and fire tube boilers. So first one is the position of water and hot gases. We have discussed previously the hot gases inside the tubes in case of fire tube and water outside the tube. The reverse in case of water tube boilers, water inside the tubes and hot gases outside the tube. Next is mode of firing. Fire tube boilers are generally internally fired and water tube boilers are externally fired. Operating pressure. Fire tube boilers are limited to 16 bar, but water tube boilers are work under high pressure as 100 bar pressures. Rate of steam production. As the pressure is limited to 16 bar, so steam generation is also lower. In water tube boilers, the steam generation is very high. Suitability. Of course, not suitable for large power plants because it is limited to the low pressure. Suitable for large power plants in case of water tube boilers as they are high pressure boilers. Risk of busting. In fire tube boilers, less risk on explosion due to the lower pressure. Involves more risk on busting due to high pressure in the water tube boilers. Floor area. For a given power, it occupies more floor area. For a given power, it occupies less floor area in case of water tube boilers. Construction. Difficult construction in case of fire tube. Simple construction in case of water tube. Also, transportation is difficult for fire tube. Transportation is simple in water tube boilers. Shell diameter. Large for same power. It requires a large shell diameter for the same power generation. Requires a small shell diameter in case of water tubes for the same power generation. Chances of explosion. Of course, in fire tube boilers less chances are there. In water tube boiler more chances are there because of higher pressure. Treatment of water. In fire tube boilers no any necessary of the treatment of water. But in water tube boilers, more necessary of treatment of water is required. So accessibility of various parts. Various parts not so easily accessible for cleaning, repair and expansion. Here in water tube boiler, all parts or various parts are more accessible. And the last point is about the requirement of skill. As the fire tube boilers are limited to the low pressure, so less skill is required for efficient economic working. But in case of water tube boilers require more skill and careful attention because it works on higher pressure. So these are some comparison points of water tube and fire tube boilers. So today we will stop here and we will continue with the same chapter in the next lecture. Thank you.